Greetings, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to my new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast series. We have been overwhelmed with the responses that people have shared from listening to these messages on my SiriusXM show over the years. Those listeners, and they're sharing my show with their network, telling people about it, telling their family members, their friends, and their coworkers about this show and the impact it's having on their lives. That's the main reason that this show is now #1 for self-help in America, and I'm very grateful. Yet, we realize that many people do not have satellite radio and therefore could not experience for themselves the message. They could not get it for themselves. So we are now sharing these messages with everyone via this new podcast. Enjoy it and share it with your network. And let's help even more people to do more, be more, and achieve more. Tell everybody so that they can live a Wealthy Ways life as well. Welcome to the new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. And remember, your best is yet to come.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
You're tired of crying and complaining, tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair. Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact is, it only takes a minute to make up your mind that now is your time to make your run. It only takes a minute, 60 seconds to begin to decide to win. Just get it on. Just get it on.
And we only have a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon us, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to us to use it. We must suffer if we lose it, give account if we abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. Greetings, everybody across America, from coast to coast, from coast to coast and border to border. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Oh, I love saying that, Dr. Willie Jolley. For those who have not been on for a while, you know, I got my doctorate in faith-driven achievement about a year ago, and I'm very grateful. But this is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Wealthy Ways Show, and I am so excited that you've decided to take time out of your schedule to listen today. This is going to be a life-changing show for you. I'm telling you in advance. I want you to tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody to pick up the phone or get on the line or turn on the radio or get this message somehow, some way, because this is going to be a life-changing show. Well, you know, I take a moment in the beginning of every show to give God glory, to give him praise and thank him for life and strength, thank him for the ability and the opportunity to be able to do what I love to do, and that is to inspire people to live their best lives. So I'm grateful and I give God the glory. And I know everybody who's listening doesn't believe like I believe. You know, I always tell you the same thing. I'm not trying to convert you. I'm just trying to tell you who has done the blessings in my life and who I give glory to, who butters my bread, and I'm grateful for it. And so I say it as I say every week. God's gift to you is life. Your gift to God is what you do with your life. So I encourage you to live an extraordinary, incredible life. Well, today we're going to talk to somebody who has done just that. This is one of those interviews I have dreamed of. I put it on my dream list, my wish list, and so I'm grateful it is coming true. Let me tell you folks in advance that, you know, many of you know I speak to lots of different organizations. I speak to lots of companies, Fortune 100s, Fortune 500s, for associations around the world, just getting back from Malaysia for Prudential. But some months ago, I got a call one day that was just so over the top that I was ecstatic about. The call was from Marriott Hotels. They called and said, we are opening our new Marriott Marquis Hotel in Washington, D.C., the first big convention center hotel in Washington, D.C., right next to the convention center. And it is going to be a historic opening because it's the 4,000th Marriott Hotel. And we have all confabbed, talked about who we want to be the speaker to open that day for our associates. And your name was number one over and over again. And so would you be willing to come and speak for our opening? And I said it would be my joy and my pleasure. So I spoke for the opening for all the new associates for the Marriott Marquis Hotel, the 4,000th. And then they invited me to the opening day ceremonies where they cut the ribbon and released the balloons. And on that day, the icon was there himself, Mr. Bill Marriott Jr. He was there, and he gave a wonderful message about the 4,000th hotel and a wonderful message about the Marriott story. And afterwards, I went up and said, look, Brother Bill, I'd like to interview you on my show. Is that possible? And he said, Willie, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, the icon, the legend in person, Bill Marriott Jr. Brother Bill, how are you?
Good, Willie. How are you?
Incredible, and grateful for this time to be on the air with you and share this wonderful story with America, because so many people stay in the Marriotts, and I must let me give some transparency in here and all full disclosure. Not only am I a Marriott timeshare owner, I have 2 Marriott timeshares, but I also, in my contract, in my speaking contract with all our speakers bureaus, it says in the contract, my first preference for hotel is a Marriott, because I know it's going to be consistently the same. So I'm a Marriott fan. I'm a product of the product, and I'm grateful for what you have created here in America.
Thanks, Willie.
Well, look, let's talk about the story, because here's what I want to talk about, folks. I want to talk about how a father or husband and wife can come from Utah in the early 1900s, I think 1920s, and start a 9-seat root beer stand. A 9-seat root beer stand in Washington, D.C., 14th Street, and build it into the biggest global hospitality brand in the world. How does one do that? And that's the American story. So, Bill, I'll kind of let you tell the story.
Well, my mom and dad were married on June the 8th, 1927, and that night they just took off and drove to Salt Lake, from Salt Lake to Washington, in an old Model T Ford. Took them 11 days to get to Washington. When they got here, they opened a 9-stool A&W root beer stand. And a lot of business that summer when Washington was hot. But when the weather cooled off and people stopped drinking ice-cold root beer, they decided to stay in business, they'd have to sell some food, so they put chili, tamales, hamburgers, and hot dogs on the menu. My mom cooked all the Mexican food in the apartment because there was no kitchen in the root beer stand, and they served food in the root beer stand, and they named a little place a hot shop. They got through that first winter, did okay. Then a year or so later, they built a little drive-in restaurant, and they convinced the government to cut the curb so people could drive onto the parking lot, and that had never happened before in Washington. So this was the first drive-in restaurant east of Mississippi. It was tremendously successful. They continued to open drive-in restaurants and expanded their business here in Washington, moved to Philadelphia, to Baltimore, to Richmond, and finally got in the airline catering business in 1937 when people were coming to their hot shop next to the Hoover Field in Washington, which is the old airport where the Pentagon is now, and people were buying boxed lunches to take on the airplanes. So my dad went to Florida and talked to Eddie Rickenbacker, who was the founder of Eastern Airlines, about putting menu food on their airplanes, and Rickenbacker said yes, and he'd pay him a little bit of money for him, and the first airline kitchen was open in the basement of the hot shop across from Hoover Field. And they continued to grow the business, and finally in 1957 they opened their first hotel, 30 years after they'd come to Washington. So it's a story of entrepreneurship. It's a story of hard work. People used to write my father and say, how were you successful? What'd you do? He used to write a long letter back. Finally gave up, and he said the key to success is to work and pray. And I would add to that, the key to success is to enjoy what you do. Find out what you do that you really love, and continue to work and continue to pray, and you'll be successful.
Wow. You know, I love that quote. I saw that quote on your dad. In fact, I had written about it because I tell people very often in my books and in my programs how important it is to have faith and works. The two of them must go together. Faith without works is dead. And your dad said two great words in the English language, work and pray. And anyone who works and prays hard enough will go to the top. And what you also added is that you got to love what you do and do it with a spirit of excellence. And, you know, that's exactly what Marriott has done. You have done it with such a tremendous passion. I read about some of the things that you have done since you started, but one of the things I was most impressed with when you became part of the Marriott family, they didn't put you at the top. Folks, he came, Bill Marriott Jr. Went to the Navy. After going to college, he went to the Navy and served the U.S. Navy and served the U.S. U.S. Armed Forces. And then he began and took a little place in the family business. He began as a job in the kitchen in the family's hot shop restaurant and cleaning out the deep fat fryer, cleaning the floors, cleaning the restaurant, scrubbing the floors. As my friend Dave Thomas used to say to me, you had an MBA, a mop and bucket attitude. And after
That's great.
And after working in the kitchen for a number of years, when your dad opened the first hotel, he said, I think you're ready now to see if you can handle this hotel and run the hotel. And from there on, you were starting to become a real Marriott executive. But you didn't start at the top. You started at the bottom. And that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I started when I was in college. I was at the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, and there was a hot shop restaurant there, and I worked in the kitchen all through college and learned how to make hot fudge sundaes and learned how to cook hamburgers and hot dogs and French fries and washed a lot of pots and pans and cleaned a lot of kitchen floors. And when I got out of college, I went for 2 years in the Navy on an aircraft carrier and ran the ship's service stores, which was I was back in the ice cream business again, you know, what they call the ghee dunk in the Navy, which is where you get your ice cream sundaes and ice cream cones. And then I ran the ship's wardroom, which is where the officers eat their lunch and dinner. And when I got out of the Navy, I went to work back in the hot shops again. And after a year or so, we opened our first hotel. And then I told my dad, you know, let me try and see what I can do with that hotel. And he said, well, you don't know anything about the hotel business. And I said, I know that, but neither does anybody else around here. So he relented and let me try my hand. And, you know, we continued to grow the business. We added another hotel a couple years later, then another one a few years later. And people just asked me, why aren't you in China in the early 80s? And I said, because we had to get to San Francisco first. And, you know, now we're in 4,000 hotels around the world in almost 80 countries and continuing to grow the business. We'll add another 1,000 hotels in the next 3 years, and so we're really moving ahead fast and love the business. I think if there's any reason for success that I've had is that I love the business and I love the people who work in it. And our motto of our company and the company culture says, take good care of your people and they'll take good care of the customers and they'll come back again. And we continue to see evidence of that from our associates. They love their jobs, they love the company, and they're devoted to the company.
I can say this as an insider. When I started speaking for Marriott, maybe almost 20 years ago now, the first person who brought me in was Doug Ridge, and then Sandy LeBlanc, and then Bill Walsh, and then Dan Nadeau. And I did the Marriott circuit. In fact, I was a secret shopper for Marriott for a number of years, going to the hotels, not letting them know who I was. And what I learned was that Marriott really does talk about making sure the employees are happy. They do something I've never seen before, an employee survey that they ask employees, how you liking what you're doing, how you liking this job, and we what can we do to make your life better? Because they know, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, that happy people are happy servers and help people to make happy experiences. And so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with the one and only Bill Marriott Jr., and we're going to talk about the mindset that creates an entrepreneurial success in America and how his faith also helped to grow that mindset. We'll be right back. You're listening across America from border to border, coast to coast to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. And for sure, the best is yet to come. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and if you're enjoying this information you're hearing on this podcast, I want to invite you to get even more great information on my new free gift page on my website. Go to wjspeaks.com and hit the All Access badge. On that page, you will find information and resources specifically designed to help you to have greater success. Free ebooks, music, all sorts of interesting and informational interviews for my XM show. I'm telling you, this is a great page. And why do I do it? Because I've learned that the more we give, the more we get. And the more we help other people to grow and go to the next level, the more we receive in our business. So we want to help you. Tell your friends about it. Go to Facebook and get my information. Go to my website, get my free resources, and get on wjspeaks.com and hit that All Access badge. It looks like a backstage pass. Click it. You'll get behind the scenes information to the special page to help you grow. All we want in return, all we ask is that you pass it on, because the more you give, the more you get. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your
And we're back. Dr. Willie Jolley on the Wealthy Way Show with my special guest, the one and only J.W. Bill Marriott Jr., the CEO extraordinaire. He's been now the executive or the emeritus, but he's the CEO of Marriott Hotels and the one who built this hotel empire. Bill, let me ask you a question. Your dad started this root beer stand in 1927. You wasn't around then.
No, I wasn't, but I came pretty quick after that.
Yeah, so your first remembrance or your first memory of the business, well, tell us about it.
Well, I was sitting on the curb at Third Hot Shop, which was the Georgia Avenue Hot Shop, which was the first drive-in restaurant east of Mississippi.
I remember that hot shop. My mom used to take us there quite often.
It was on Georgia Avenue, and it was a nice spring day, and we dropped my dad off, and he had some work to do, and I was sitting in the car with my mother, and he stayed in the hot shop forever. I thought he'd never come out. I got so restless and so antsy that I was about ready to jump out of the car when he finally showed up. And I said, "Where have you been?" I was about 3, I think, or 4. And he said, "Well, I've been working. You're going to learn how to work in this business." And that's what I do every day, all day, is work, and make sure the food's good, the hot food's hot, and the cold food is cold. The associates that are serving the food are happy, and they're taking care of the customers, and I want to be sure we're taking care of them. So that was my first experience back in about 36, 35, something like that.
That was in the midst of the Depression, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. Washington didn't have a depression because everybody came here for a handout from the government.
Right, that's
so
right.
The business in Washington flourished, and one thing that was great about the hot shops was that everybody that lived in Washington lived in apartment houses pretty much back then, and they didn't have any air conditioning, so when it got hot in the summer, everybody got out of their apartment, and they went out to the hot shops, and they sat in their car, and our boys who served the cars on the curb with little trays they'd put on the window were bringing food out to the cars and drinks out to the cars, and our Connecticut Avenue hot shop had 100 servers on what we called the curb, which was the parking lot. And they were out there taking care of these customers, and you wouldn't believe how much business they were doing. And I used to come by there when I was a little kid with my dad and watch these guys running around that curb with their trays, and had a collar on the roof, a loudspeaker who'd say, "Number 6, your order's up. Number 8, your order's up." And it was a real circus, but it was great. The business was terrific, and the Washingtonian people who remember those early days of hot shops have really good memories.
Well, I remember when Hot Shops was on Georgia Avenue. It wasn't the original. It was one of the ones in the 60s. And my mom would take us there every Friday, and she'd get the cheese bread, and she'd get also some pastries and things to take to her relatives when we traveled to Virginia to go visit. And she said, "Oh, these are the best." And we'd have our hot shot. My brother and I, we did good in school. school, we'd get a milkshake and so forth. Well, let me ask you a question. Here are a couple things I want to find out. Your dad's entrepreneurial spirit, his entrepreneurial mindset, which obviously you also have the same mindset. Part of that comes from living in America and the possibility, but part of it comes from the fact that y'all are not ashamed to talk about your faith, and that the faith is a part of your success DNA. Is that correct?
Well, that's right. I mean, we've always gone to church. We're all members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it's a lay church. So my dad served in many jobs in the church from time to time, and I did the same, and my children have done the same, and my grandchildren are doing the same. And, we believe that it's important to have faith. It's important to believe in God and Jesus Christ, and we do, and we walk the talk. We're very active in our church, and we continue to talk about the church and the great impact it's had on our lives. And my dad always used to say one of the reasons he'd been successful was he had decided that he would be faithful to the church and faithful to my mother, and he had nothing to worry about as far as getting off track or the family getting off track, and it was really very impactful in his growing the business and being able to take care of his people.
And folks, I hope y'all get this. It's very important that y'all hear me who listen often that I talk about faith. I'm not ashamed to talk about my faith, and I'm also not ashamed to talk about success and how faith and success can interact and intersect with each other, and that great faith people and great industrialists or great success people are always clear that they must have both parts. You must have great faith and great works, and that faith without works is dead. And yet you find many times people are ashamed of wanting to work hard. I'm saying you got to work hard. If you read my book, any of my books, I say you got to pray like it all depends on God and work like it all depends on you. You got to do both parts. And this is a great story of a family that was willing to do that. Well, one of the things as I did my research about this family and this story, you start with the root beer stand. Your mom starts making hot tamales and all that for the hot shops, and call it the hot shops. And then you start building more and more hot shops. And you then went from hot shops to Big Boys. I remember Bob's Big Boys. And then you did Roy Rogers. And then you got the food, the first one to put food on planes. And then you realized, though, that there was some limitation. And then you said, let's talk about hotels. And went to the hotel hospitality industry and gave it a shot. Like you said, no one knew how to do it, how to run a hotel, but you were concerned about certain things, and that was hire good people. Let's talk about how you hire people.
Well, I think when you hire somebody, you have to find out what motivates them. Do they want to come to the business to make a career out of it, or they just come in as a part-time job to get through college and then go do something else? We like people who want to buy into our program because we offer great opportunity for people. I've said the most important thing in our corporate culture is taking care of people by providing them opportunities to grow. 50% of our hotel general managers started in hourly ranks, so they've come up from waiter or from a housekeeper or from a front office person to be a general manager. Many of the vice presidents of our company started as in the hourly ranks. The head of all of our hotel operations was a waiter in our restaurant in Philadelphia. And we provide opportunities for people, and we provide the training for them to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. And I think that's the great thing we bring to society.
I can attest to that. I know so many of my dear friends in the world are Marriott GMs. Doug Ridge down at the Marriott World Center started in housekeeping, and Reagan Link started as a bartender. I would always interview them before I'd go to speak, and I'd say, where did you start? Dan Nadeau is a second-generation Marriott employee, and his son now, I believe, is in Marriott. And in fact, Doug Ridge's son is also with Marriott. And many of them say, I started in housekeeping, I started in bartending, I started in doorkeep, front door hospitality, and I worked my way up. And this company gives you that opportunity. You look for people, though, also who I love this piece, and I read it. You say, I look for people who smile. People who are willing, who are happy. And I spoke recently. I spoke just yesterday at Kaiser Permanente, and I was telling people that great human resource professionals understand that you hire for attitude and you train for the aptitude. Is that how y'all have been successful?
Well, yeah, we say that we hire friendly and train technical. And if you're a friendly person, if you like people, you like to work with people, you like to serve people, then we'll give you that opportunity to show what you can do, and the ability that you have to take care of people, to smile across that front desk, take care of their every need. We have some wonderful examples every day of our people who go out of their way. A person leaves their shoes, special shoes home. We've had people lend their shoes to them. We've had people take sick people to the hospital in their own car and wait for them and accommodate their families when they came in to see the sick person. And, we are part of their lives. When they're living with us, they're guests in our home. And that's what we try to do, is make sure everybody feels good about staying with Marriott, and they feel that they're cared for, that they can come to us with an emergency or anything they need to talk about, and we're there for them. I think that's very, very important. And we, hire friendly, train technical is certainly for us the best mantra going forward in terms of hiring the right kind of people in the hospitality industry.
Well, you got great stories in your books. By the way, he has a new, not a brand new book, but it's a wonderful book, and it's a book I encourage everybody to go, particularly those who are entrepreneurs and who are building a business. It's called Without Reservations: How a Family Root Beer Stand Grew into a Global Hotel Company. Without Reservations. Bill, where can people get that book?
Excuse me, Willie?
Where can people get the book?
Oh, they can get it on Amazon.com.
All right, great. Folks, I want to encourage everybody who's listening to go get a copy of this book. It is one of these books that will help you if you're in business, an entrepreneur, or if you're not, even if you are thinking about starting a business or you already have a job. I tell everybody you must be the CEO of YOU Incorporated. If you work for somebody, give them more than they pay you to give, and you'll create a reputation that will pave a path for you. And so in this book, it tells you whether you are in business or you want to be in business, or you just got a job, or you're retired. This book will bless you and help you. And I can attest. I tell in my speeches, and I told at the opening of the Marriott Marquis a story about when I was speaking for the U.S. Army. I was going from Army base to Army base, encouraging and speaking for the Army workers. And I got to the Army transfer base out in San Diego. I was sick as a dog. I had been on a plane, caught something, some cold or something. I got to the hotel, which was a Marriott, because as in my contract, I prefer Marriotts. And so I got to the Marriott, went up to the front desk. She said, Mr. Jolley, they have a message for you. They're waiting. They're going to be looking to pick you up for dinner tonight, the host and everything, and your speech tomorrow morning. I said, look, would you do me a favor? I'm really not feeling well. I need to go to bed. Would you send a note back to them, call them, and say, I just can't make it to the dinner. I got a cold or something I caught on the plane. And she said, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. I went to my room, started getting ready for bed, and I wasn't, it's early evening, and I got a knock on the door. I said, who would be coming up to the room at this point? I open the door, and there's a waiter with a tray and a bowl of chicken noodle soup and a card from the staff saying, get well, Mr. Jolley.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Woo! So I say in my speeches, next time I want to go to San Diego, what hotel you think I'm going to go to? So it's Marriott Hotel, and that's why I'm not just a fan. I'm a product of the product. We're going to take a quick station identification. We'll be right back because we got more to talk about how to handle setbacks, because Marriott's had a few, but how you can handle setbacks, and then his steps for success, his rules for success. I've got 12 of them here in front of me, and I'll kind of hit them, and he can just expand on them. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for years I've told people that in order to have a greater life, it starts by having greater individual days. If you have a great day and you repeat that great day 7 times, you've had a great week. And you repeat that week 4 times, you've had a greater month. And then repeat that month 12 times, you've had a greater year, and you're on your way to a greater life. And it starts with that individual day. I recommend you start each day with something powerful. I call it the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Rather than starting your day with bad bad news, how many people got killed or how many children got snatched or how many fires there were. I recommend you start your day with something to inspire and empower and encourage you to make this day a great day. We're excited to announce the start of Jolley TV on my Facebook page. Go to Willie Jolley, Willie.Jolley on Facebook. Just go to Willie.Jolley on Facebook and get ready for a great day and a great life. Have a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I've got my friend, the icon himself, the legend, J.W. Bill Marriott Jr. And Bill, I want to ask you a couple things. First, your father said something. He said success is never final, and he said you got to keep working as hard to stay ahead as you did to get ahead. And I thought that was profound. And you have developed 12 rules for success. I'm gonna throw one at you, and you kind of expand on it and talk about it a little bit. Challenge your team to do better and do it often.
Well, I think it's a matter of growth. I think we all need to grow. I think we all need to improve. I think that's why we provide training so that people can take advantage of the opportunities that they have. And it's really important, Willie, that people know that there's training and know there's opportunity. They know that they can better their lives by working at Marriott, and we'll give them the opportunity to really excel and get a really wonderful chance to succeed in life.
Awesome. Take good care of your associates, and they'll take good care of your customers, and they'll come back, which we've talked about.
That's right. That's the key. That's the most important thing we do around here, is take good care of our associates.
Celebrate your people's success, not your own.
Well, once a year we have what we call the J.W. Marriott Award of Excellence Night, and we select 8 or 10 people from around the country and around the world who are the very best. If they're working in the hotel as a waiter or working as a housekeeper or working in the accounting department, if their pursuit of excellence is so outstanding, we bring them in with their spouse and their family, and we celebrate them before all the senior leaders of the company. They get a 2 or 3 day tour of Washington. They get to meet everybody at headquarters. All the senior management has lunch with them. And then at this big dinner, we really celebrate them and give them a chance to tell their story. And then we get the chance to give them a medal. And then we celebrate them with a dinner. And so it's a wonderful evening. Everybody in the company says it's the best day of the year. And I would agree with that because we are celebrating our people and thanking them for the outstanding job that they're doing.
Awesome. Know what you're good at and keep improving at it.
That's very important to understand what you can do and what you can't do. I think it's important to realize what your limitations are and what your strengths are. Build on your strengths, put your weaknesses in the back of your head and forget about them, and just keep building on your strengths. Build, build, build. But you can't build on your strengths unless you love what you do.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. Do it and do it now. Err on the side of taking action.
Well, I think people are afraid to take a risk. And we do our very best around here to let them know it's not a sin to fail. If you fail around here, pick yourself up. Go fix what you've messed up if you can. If you can't, come for help. But we're here to help you take advantage of the opportunities in your life. And we want you to take risks. We want you to get stuff done. We don't want to analyze things forever. We expect thoughtful investigation of all the things that you're working on, and think about it and engage your team. I think that's very important, to engage your team. And that means listening and not necessarily letting them know as the boss what you think, but get them to tell you what they think. And I think that's the way you build a company, is by leadership, by listening to people, encouraging them to speak up. And then when you finally get to the point where it's time to make a decision, make it and move on. You know, folks, and many of you folks might have my book, An Attitude of Excellence. And in that Attitude of Excellence, I talk about you must swing for the fences, and how Hank Aaron
made up his mind he was going to swing for the fences early in his career, and he struck out twice as many times as he hit home runs. Most times, in fact, he struck out, but when he hit it, he knocked it out the park. And this is exactly what Bill Marriott is saying. You got to be willing to take a risk. Swing for the fences. Be excellent. Pursue excellence. And if you fail, try it again. It's no sin to fail. It's no sin. Just keep trying. I love that. Thank you, Bill. Now, let's talk about communicating by listening to your customers, associates, and competitors. That's profound.
Well, I used to like to visit the competitors as often as I could, and I've been thrown out of our competitors' kitchens. I've been thrown out of the front lobby when they saw what I was doing. And, you know, I had a competitor who brought out a new product, and when I heard that the new product was out, I went to see it. And they told me that the CEO of the company had not seen the new product yet. And what was I doing there? And I said, we love to study our competitors. We love to find out what they're doing. They give us a lot of opportunities to learn the business better and to do a better job for our customers.
Folks, again, another little caveat. I spoke for Walmart down in Bentonville, and I went to visit the original 5 and dime store that Sam Walton started, and that was one of his big takeaways. He said, I'd go to competitors, and just like Bill Marriott, he said, they put me out because I was there checking out what I could learn good from them and what I could learn to improve. And that's what the successful people do. They check out the competitors, learn from them, and grow from it. I love that, Bill. See and be seen. Get out of your office. Walk the talk. Make yourself visible and accessible.
Well, I'm out of the office probably 60% of the time, and I try to visit as many hotels as I can. I hit 325 2 years ago before I took a different role in the company. Now I'll do 200 hotels this year, and involves traveling to a lot of nice places. I try to go south in the winter and north in the summer, which I think is a reasonable level of intelligence. And but I do visit a lot of hotels. I love to see the people. I love to see if we're making the standards right. If when we remodel a hotel, are we doing the right kind of a job for our customers? And how do the people feel about their jobs? How clean are the kitchens? What does the front office look like? What's the driveway look like? Is it clean? What are the mats entering the hotel that say welcome? Are they clean and sparkling? And what are the people like? Are they anxious to see me, or do they just kind of turn away and walk away? But most of the time, they're anxious to see me and happy to see me, and I'm thrilled to see them.
Now, I got to take a quick moment, Bill. You said you're doing 200-some visits this year, 200-some. Bill, tell people how old you are.
Yeah, I'm 82.
Folks, you hear that? 82. He still got it. He still got it.
My wife says that you've got to stop this, and I say this is my life.
I love it.
I'm doing it.
You're my role model, buddy. You are my role model. At 80, in my 80s, I'm going to be working every day. I don't believe in retirement. I believe that you keep working, and I loved your dad's quote. There's a quote that your dad had that I loved a lot. He said, a man should keep on being constructive and do constructive things. He should take part in the things that go on in this wonderful world. He should be someone to be reckoned with. He should live life and make every day count to the very end. Sometimes it's going to be tough, but that's what I'm going to do. And that's what he did, and that's what you're doing. I applaud that. I just love that, Bill. That turns me on. Okay, here's another one.
Okay, Willie. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to visit with me, and I'm proud of you and the great accomplishments that you've done in your life.
Well, Bill, thank you for letting me be on with you and having this time with you. And again, thank you for your team, Angela Wiggins, and everybody in your team for making this possible. God bless you and your family, and much continued success.
You too, Willie.
All right, thank you.
Bless.
God bless you.
Okay.
Hey, folks, we are so excited he was able to be on with us. He told me he had a short time window to be able to be on, but I am grateful that he was able to be on with us and share some ideas and some strategies and thoughts. I'm going to take a few more of these ideas that he shared and kind of flesh them out with you while we got this last part of the interview, or last part of the show. He says success is always in the details. And in the details, you do the little things consistently. And that's why I was so impressed with the book. As I went through the book, he put some very important messages. He said, culture counts. In Marriott's case, our culture results in measurably lowering employee turnover and higher customer satisfaction, a winning combination that boosts our profits and pleases our shareholders. And there were 5 areas in the book that he talked about for the book Without Reservations that he fleshes out in greater detail. Put people first, which we've talked about. Pursue excellence. In everything you do, pursue excellence. Embrace change. Act with integrity. And serve our world. Now let's go over those. Put people first. Put your people, the people who work with you, your suppliers. Treat people. I've found so many employers who treat their employees like servants rather than like partners. But those who treat their employees like partners and get buy-in from the employees, their business will grow. Best way to grow your future, grow yourself. Best way to grow your organization, grow your people. And that is what Marriott has done, and that's why they continue to grow. Pursue excellence. An attitude of excellence says that you're going to pursue excellence with everything you have, not perfection. Perfection has an end point, but excellence is always room for improvement. Kanai, the Kaizen principle, that you're constant and never-ending improvement, that there's no end point. How much better can I get? Embrace change. Life is changing. Bill Marriott does a blog. He doesn't use a computer. He does a blog every week, and if you go on Marriott, you can get the blog. But he said, I've learned new things about technology, but I'm not good at it yet. But I'm embracing it, and I'm embracing social media. He's embracing. They had to change from root beer to hot food to a restaurant where then you could get hamburgers and other things and roll up and ride up in your car. Now, what else can we do to change? What else can we do to innovate? Well, maybe we can find a way to not only feed them, but to let them have a place to lodge as well. So they started a hotel, a motor hotel. First motel was a motor hotel. You can drive up and spend the night in Washington, D.C., near the Pentagon. And that was the first hotel. And then they said, well, that went well. Let's try another one. No, not far away from there. And then they did more in the Washington area. And then act with integrity. Did you hear him say that his dad was someone who worked with integrity, with faith? He was faithful to his family. He was faithful to his wife. He was faithful to his business. And if you're faithful, then God rewards faithfulness. And you will see that out of that faithfulness will grow a seed that will continue to bloom and blossom. And then, folks, he had one more quote here of his 5, and I'm going to go back to the 12 in a minute. Serve our world. Woo, serve our world. Folks, this is incredible how you can serve the world and make a difference. You know what I love and what I shared in my office, that we're here to do a couple things. We're here to make a difference, and we're here to make a profit. We must make a difference. That's number one. We got to make a difference, impact people, but then make a profit, because if we don't make a profit, we don't have the resources or the ability to continue to make the difference, and we want to make a difference. So I encourage you to set some goals. I encourage you to set a goal, one, that you're going to set a goal to what you can make a difference with, what impact you can have, and then set a goal how you're going to have some resources to set that goal, make that goal reality of what impact, and then set a goal what you're going to become as a person in the process, so that you can start to do more, be more, have more, so you can give more and make a bigger difference. We're going to be right back after this break. I'm going to give you some more lessons I've learned from this book and from my time with folks at Marriott around the country, and how Marriott has created a culture of excellence and a culture that is a great American success story. And if they can do it, so can you. That's what I want you to know. If they can do it, so can you. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for sure, the best is yet to come.
You can call on me.
Pick up the phone
You can call
and call me.
If you need me, you can What good is a friend if you cannot depend on them when you're in need?
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friends said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and will help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come.
Gonna take it to the top. Motivated, highly motivated. Motivated, I'm never gonna stop. I had a job I really hated. It made me sick, but it got me motivated. I knew that this was not where I was meant to be. I didn't want to stay, but I was too afraid to leave. Then one day I got my check, there was almost nothing there. I went to the boss, he laughed and said he didn't care. My kids were at home hungry, I was about to lose my home. That's when I decided I had to make it on my own. Said,
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Our guest today was Bill Marriott. He gave us more than he had said he was able to give us. He said he was only going to give us a short time because he doesn't do interviews, folks. This is a big deal because he doesn't really do a lot of interviews on radio because he's really busy and his schedule is just incredible. But I'm grateful that I was able to be the speaker for the opening of the new Marriott Marquis, that they all Marriott top brass said we want one speaker. We want one speaker to be part of our opening of this historic 4,000th hotel. And that one speaker is Dr. Willie Jolley. I'm very grateful that they invited me. And at the opening day festivities, I went up and took a picture with Bill Marriott. And if you're on my newsletter, by the way, you'll get these pictures and these other learning points that I glean out of these interviews. If you're not on my newsletter, you're missing it because this is absolutely free. Every week we send out a newsletter with all these great interviews and the learning lessons and the special little behind the scenes kind of information I have had the opportunity to have with them, as well as we give you free stuff, free motivational messages, free information on building your success. So go to williejolly.com, sign up for the newsletter. Also, go to my new website, jollygoodnews.org. That's my faith-based website, jollygoodnews.org. You can see me at the Crystal Cathedral or at some of the churches I've spoken around the country, as well as my faith-based messages. And look, you get on the newsletter for both of them. We only send out the newsletter right now for the Willie Jolley website, but we'll be sharing more information about the Jolly Good News. And in those newsletters, you'll get some of the information. And one of the things that Bill Marriott shared with me, and you'll see it on this newsletter that's coming up, is that day I went up to him and I said, I really am impressed with what you've been able to build. He said, this is a commitment to excellence. We just made a commitment to excellence. And then he said something else. He said, look, this is a family that believes what we talk about. We walk our talk. And so I then go, I'm going to pop the question, hey, would you be willing to do a radio interview on my Sirius XM show? And he said, absolutely. So he was a man of his word. He came and did the interview, and I'm grateful. And his 12 steps. So for those who just joining us, he said, challenge your team to do better, do it often. Take good care of your associates, the people who work with you, people who many call employees, they call them associates, and they'll take good care of your customers, and then your customers will come back over and over again. Celebrate your associate's success, not just your own. Know that know what you're good at, and keep improving at it. Find your lane, stay in that lane, or work it and be excellent. And they have found hospitality, the people business, serving people, whether it's in food, whether it's in lodging, whether it's in airplane food. They found out what they're good at. Do it, and do it now. Err on the side of taking action. The winners in life take action. I'm encouraging you to take action on the dreams and goals you've been talking about. You've been saying, I want to start a company. Well, do it. But I don't know how. Just do it. God, one of my friends, Larry Wingert, said, implement now, perfect later. And I love that. Implement now, perfect later. So I'm encouraging you to implement now and perfect later. Whatever it is, err on the side of action. Take some action. Decide and get going on what you want to do. You say you want to write a book? Do it. It might not be perfect. Let me tell you, I wrote a book, one of my books, the first version of Attitude of Excellence. And I erred on the side of action. I had to get it done. And I had a time window because I had a client who said, I like that title. Would you send me some or bring some when you come speak? And I was about maybe a month out from that speech. And I said, wow, to myself, I don't have that book finished. But they said, and we'll pay you. We'll buy a bunch of the books. We want 300 books. I said, whoa, okay, I'm going to have that book finished. Well, anyway, I started writing the book, and I got the book written. But then my usual editor, was busy and couldn't do it. My wife, who edits my books, she was on another project. She said, I can't do it right now, but I'll get to it in a day or two. I said, no, I'm going to get somebody else. And this lady had told me her son was an editor. So I gave the guy the book manuscript. He edited. I didn't even review it when he came back. I just believed he could do it, and he edited. I got back, and I said, send it right to the printer because my time is the printer said, you got to have it to me by X day, and he got it to him that day, and I didn't have time to even go through it. The printer printed them in paperback. And I never even saw him. Sent them right to Denver, Colorado, where I was going to be giving a speech. Where I flew in, the books were there. I said, "Are the books here?" Yep, the books are here. The box of the books. And that day, I opened up my speech and said, "You all got a book. It's absolutely free." And everybody loved it. They were clapping. And a couple of days later, my client called and said, "Hey, you got a few errors in your book." I said, "What?" And I opened the book, and there were errors, typos. The editor had done a poor job. But I got it done. And you know what I did? I said, you know what? I apologize. We're gonna fix it, and I'll send you all an updated copy. He was happy. I was happy. But I got the book done, which led to me getting the final book done, adding more to it. And I say sometimes you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have errors. But you make your lemon into lemonade. And rather than somebody who procrastinates and says, has the paralysis of analysis, think about it so much. Ooh, should I do? And never get it done. Procrastination is the biggest nation in the world. You got to get it done. All right. He says on his 12 steps, know what you're good at and keep improving. Do it now. Err on the side of taking action. Communicate by listening to your customers, your associates, and your competitors. He talked about that. See and be seen. Get out of your office. Walk the talk. Make yourself visible and accessible. Success is always in the details. And that's something I have to work on, because I'm a big thinking guy. I don't always dwell on the details, but I thank God for my wife, who is a detail person. She's detail oriented, and she helps me there, and I'm working on becoming more detail oriented. It's more important to hire people with the right qualities than with specific experience. Hire for attitude and train for technical. That is what he talked about. Hire friendly, train technical. And folks, you want to hire friendly, positive, upbeat people who have a positive attitude. And then customers' needs may vary, but their biases for quality never does. That is true. That's why I always say I want a Marriott, because I know that my needs are going to vary, but I'm going to get a consistent offering when I go to a Marriott. Always the same. Good hotel room. They're going to have a gym. That's in my contract. They got to have a gym. They're going to have good food, and the people are going to be friendly. Always hire people who are smarter than you are. I thought that one was profound, because I know that in his office he got Angela Wiggins. He's got so many great people who are brilliant, who are just these brilliant people. And Bill Marriott shares that, that he hires great people who are smart. Don't be intimidated by that. Henry Ford used to say that in his books. He would hire people who were smarter than him, because he wanted the best and the brightest around him, and then view every problem as an opportunity to grow. We didn't get a chance to talk about his setbacks over the years, but they've had some setbacks. Marriott has had some setbacks and economy setbacks. They had to lay off some people. And he said he learned from each one of those setbacks how to do it with grace, with style, with class, and to be caring. And how many of his associates, when they got laid off, said you did it with such grace and care, and you took good care of us, helped us to find new positions, helped us with counseling, helped us with training. You did it the right way when the economy went south, which it has done. He said he's lived through 7 recessions, and they've been through 7 recessions. My goodness. So, folks, these are lessons that I think are so profound. I want to go back to that quote again by his dad, J. Willard Marriott Sr., that a man should keep being constructive and do constructive things. He should take part in the things that go on and take a part of the things that go on in this wonderful world. He should be someone to be reckoned with. He should live life and make every day count to the very end. Sometimes it's going to be tough, but that's what he was going to do. I want you to be constructive. I want you to be committed to pursue excellence. God's gift to you is life. Your gift to God is what you do with your life. And then closing this interview with these words that I hope will inspire you. And they have continued to inspire me. 2 great words in the English language: work and pray. And anyone who works and prays hard enough will go to the top. I'm asking you to work hard, pray hard, have faith, take action on that faith, be excellent, and you will start to see your success start to just grow. I'm confident of it. I want you to go to my website, williejolly.com. I want to thank Lightspeed VT, because they're trying to help people to grow, my sponsor. I want you to go to my new Lightspeed channel platform, which is Jolley, Jolley VT, Victor Thomas, virtual training, Jolley, Jolley VT.com. Check it out. It's going to change America. It's going to change the American workplace, because we're going to teach people how to have an attitude of excellence. Here's what I've told people, that most people come to work every day with a skill set that they learned in school or college or whatever it may be, but no college I know has a degree in attitude or a degree in excellence. And that's what I'm going to teach you, how to have those. And everybody say they're core values. So, williejolly.com, jollygoodnews.org, and Jolley VT. Thank you for listening. This has been an incredible interview today, and I want to thank Bill Marriott for taking time out. And remember, folks, for sure, your best is yet to come. God bless you.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? can do. Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact is, it only takes.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.